Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Bassi. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai, all our viewers. Final trading week.
Yesterday with Chuka.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Final trading week for February. We're wrapping up. Brent crude 6% growth this month in February, as a result, of course, of what's been going on with Iran. So it'll be interesting to see if the Dangote refineries and NNPCs of this world will announce any cuts, because this, because it's been up sustained above 71. Of course, remember Nigeria's benchmark is 65 for 2026. So the meeting took place yesterday. That's between the US and Iran. No outcome. They said they will continue. I think next week or Monday. So next week they'll continue their talks. So nothing there. All right. Quickly moving on to Asia markets, heading for their best February on record. The MSCI Asia Pacific Index 7% up this month. The Kospi, incredible stuff. The Kospi is up about 20% in February alone. Year to date, the Kospi is up about 46%. Asia markets were a bit mixed in trading today, but the Nikkei 225, who else? I think the ASX 200, a number of Asian indexes hitting records this month of February. Also, CPI coming in from Tokyo under the Bank of Japan's 2% target, 1.8% core CPI growth for Tokyo CPI. Moving on from there, US markets mixed yesterday. The Dow was almost, just would have fallen into negative territory, 0.03%. Their tech stocks are really the story, dragging things down. And it's funny, NVIDIA, despite the blowout earnings, if you take a look at some select stocks in the United States, look at that. They lost about 250 billion in market cap yesterday, 5.46% drop in their stock price. And we talked about how well they did. The AI fears just continue. Block Inc. is Jack Dorsey's company. Jack Dorsey is the founder, of course, of Twitter. He announced in a post yesterday that they have about 10,000, a staff of 10,000. Block is a tech company. They handle, I think, payments and stuff. And he announced that because of AI, and he's seeing... and they're essentially going to be cutting about 4,000 of their staff. He says he doesn't want to do it in bits and pieces. He's doing it all at once, but they're going to get a severance, 20 weeks of pay, so on and so forth. So the stock after hours up 23.5%. Investors reacting to that. Netflix has bowed out of the race to get Warner Brothers. We talked about the new bid from Paramount, and Netflix says, look, they're not going to continue bidding for it. Investors, look, a lot of investors didn't want Netflix to buy Warner Brothers. So after hours trading, the stock popping by 8.5%. Paramount also up 6.1%. Warner Brothers was down, and then that's Netflix at the bottom. Now, Block is going to have a town hall. You're going to have, Jack Dorsey says he's going to have meetings with staff that are picked to be let go. We understand that CNN is going to have a town hall meeting with David Zaslav because it looks like if the board goes ahead and accepts the Paramount deal, there's a full timeline of, this is the whole drama of where things started from. This itself could be its own show, but it just ends with Netflix essentially dropping out. So David Zaslav is going to have a town hall meeting with CNN staff. I don't know what he's going to say, but the signs are not good, because now it means that this obsession with CNN and wanting to change things there, since Larry Ellison is a friend of Trump's and looks like his son is going to get the company now, there might be some big changes going on, but we'll see what happens. I think moving to now, this is still another AI story. Anthropic is the makers. They make Claude. Claude competes with ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on and so forth. They have until 5 p.m. today, which is about 11 p.m. our time, 5 p.m. Eastern time, to acquiesce to the Department of Defense or Department of War's demands with respect to how they use their Claude for military purposes. So they have a contract. It's worth about $200 million a year or so. This is Pete Hegseth. And Hegseth, essentially, the Anthropic says that they are using AI for surveillance, and they don't want it to be used for autonomous attacks on targets. Your last guest, the professor, was just talking a few minutes ago about how advanced the US and the West is in fighting insecurity, and why can't we do that here? So that's the conversation they have. I won't go through his long post, but he just came and said, look, I believe deeply in the existential importance. This is Dario Amodei. Dario Amodei is the CEO of Anthropic, saying that he believes deeply in the importance of using AI to defend the United States, but he now goes on in a statement they put out saying that, look, they've been threatened by the Department of War, that they will sever all ties with them. And in fact, he said they will invoke some Defense Act of 1940-something, where the U.S. can basically just take over a private company if it is in the interest of national security for the United States. So that's where the conversation is now with artificial intelligence, to where the tools are so advanced that they're using them now. There are worries over the morality of using them in fighting insecurity and so on and so forth. So that's that. And I think we round off with Nigeria. We talked about how foreign exchange stability has helped with Nestle Nigeria rebounding. So we're getting more and more earnings coming out of Nigerian companies, and the story continues. So this is Transcorp Group, 544 billion revenue, 33% growth there. In the same way that we looked at how NVIDIA's data centers contributed about 90-something% to total revenues, you see here the power subsidiaries at Transcorp, like Transcorp Power, contributing almost 80% to the top line revenue. Tony Lumelu has talked a lot about how, Nigeria needs 24/7 electricity. They need to pay the Genco's debt off and so on and so forth. So healthy result, 1 trillion naira in assets crossing for the Transcorp. Also Transcorp Hotels, 97 billion in revenue there. Dirty December, fourth quarter, lots of visitors. MTN, just stellar results for MTN Nigeria. Another rebound story. MTN had a 400 billion naira loss in 2024, rebounding to 1 trillion in after-tax profits. Needs to really think about that. Nestle, that had 1 trillion in revenues. Transcorp, 1 trillion in assets. MTN, after-tax profits for MTN. I mean, it's just massive. Service revenue, 5.2 trillion. Look at data. Data made up about 51% of their total revenues, 2.7 trillion, 74% usage increase. Their subs, 87.9 million subs, 7.9% growth there. Data users climbed by 11%. I mean, it was pretty healthy. Also, they declared a dividend of 15 naira, full year 20. So again, Akao Toriola, CEO, was talking about how, exchange rates, so on and so forth. So we continue to see that narrative going on with Nigerian companies.
We don't have time, but please, Rotus, maybe on Monday, we need to tell the backstory of what really transpired with the deal. It's not as easy as Netflix pulling out. Trump twisted them, threatening them over Susan Rice, a former Obama cabinet person that's on the board of Netflix. So it's not as easy as that.
I get you. There's more to tell, more to tell.
Okay, thank you, Rotus.
Thank you.
You were in Davos. The CEO of World Economic Forum has resigned for Epstein-related issues.